Welcome, fight fans, to episode 83 of the Hooks In MMA podcast. We're going to be recapping UFC 273 tonight and looking ahead to Belal Muhammad versus Vicente Luque 2 coming up this Saturday from the Apex Center. We're also hosting two guests on this week's show. We've got Alex Eazy Polizzi as well as Iron Mike Barnett. Zoni's going to tell us a bit about these guys, but we look forward to getting ahead of that book and meeting you at the Cashier Saturday night. Zoni, kick things off.
Yeah, Polizzi, he's a Bellator guy. He's 10-1 now. Looked great. If you guys didn't watch that fight, it's an absolute barn burner. He won in the third round. That's 3 in a row for him in Bellator. So he's gonna get a big fight next year. Barnett, unfortunately, on the Challenger Series, he was the main event one of the Friday nights a few weeks back. Didn't get the W, but moving forward, he showed out a bit. So he's got a chance to sign with another promotion, maybe build that resume up a little bit. Yeah, and in terms of last weekend, really excited for this card. I know we all talked about this for, weeks, months at the start of the year. We were excited for when they finally booked Chimaev and Burns as well, confirming it. And it started out, Julio Arce looked fantastic. One of our guests, Pieta Rodriguez, looked pretty good as well. And eventually her opponent, Kay Hansen, was cut this past week. Only 22, but she's got some things to work on if she wants to move forward. Alexei Oleinik, I mean, what can you say about this guy? 52 submissions, or 52 first round finishes, like Vandera. Yeah, I don't know where he's going to go next with this one. And then our boy, Canadian boy, Mike Malott, fantastic fight, probably one of the best fights on the card in terms of barn burner and back and forth. Awesome to see him to get that finish. Unfortunately, he didn't get the bonus there, but hopefully there's a little backdoor deal there. A few other fights that we'll touch on. You guys can mention those, but overall, 273 was a success, despite the fact that there was several decisions after the Malott fight. I think it was 6 or 7 of the last 8 were decisions, but some of those were actually really good fights. So yeah, you guys can touch on that, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, well, I think obviously the biggest upset or surprise of the night was Aljo beating Petr Yan in the decision, right? Definitely didn't see that coming on easy lines, and I don't think really too many other bettors out there saw that decision coming. I'm sure some maybe took Aljo by finish, but I went back and watched that fight, and I will say I will have to agree with the judges' decision in this time around. I mean, I think we all can, or from my understanding online, and you guys can disagree with me a lot, but mainly everyone can agree that that Aljo won the second and third round, right? And Yan won the fourth and fifth round. Really, the first round was in question here, right? And going back and watching that again, I'm using the same kind of scoring criteria or logic that I used when I, kind of taking a look at the Moreno and Figueiredo fight. Same thing, right? Yes, Yan was controlling the octagon. Yes, he was being aggressive, but he wasn't throwing anything. At the end of at the very first thing that, as the rules are written right now, the very first thing you got to look at, no matter what, is damage. And Sterling was the one that did more damage in that first round. Wasn't very much, but Yan basically did nothing as well, right? I mean, he didn't throw anything for the first 3 minutes. That basically cost him the fight. That's usually the way that he wins fights, though, right? That he never wins the first round. He always does that exact same thing. The difference is that, he usually starts taking over already by that second round. He's beating up the guy by the end of the second round, but not in this case. And that's another thing, too. If Aljo had lost that decision, let's say, I still would have respected him quite a bit for the amount of difference that I saw between the first fight and the second fight. And I mean, he was, and no one was giving him any type of recognition or any type of credit before the fight, right? He even said it himself. Those memes were going around, right? Like, Aljo looks great. He's such great shape. He looks amazing. Workout videos are amazing. Jan by murder, right? Everyone was just like, like he looks amazing to that, but I'm going by Jan by finish, right?
And it was funny too when Rogan said, it's bad in Florida when they're cheering for the Russian guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it was just a lot of people just personally had a personal vendetta against them, and that actually did affect the lines. And even like the social media shit that was going on, right? All the top comments are ripping on Sterling, ripping on him. But at the end of the day, the guy can fucking fight, right? And his grappling's pretty unreal. Now, I also have to give Jan enough credit in terms of, he fought off a choke for about 7 minutes there straight, and well, not straight, I guess, but through 2 rounds. And no, I don't think many people could do that with Sterling sitting on their back like that. So that was pretty impressive, but that's obviously clearly a hole in his game. He gives up his back way too quickly, and Sterling was able to take advantage of it. So good on him. I think he won that one fair and square. Bring on TJ Dillashaw. I think that's a great matchup. Dana White kind of threw him under the bus a little bit, though. Aljo after the fight immediately saying the judges, although judges screwed that up. I don't know why Dana does that. He himself has these own personal things, right, against fighters, I think, and he's usually an unreal business guy, and he lets his ego get in the way sometimes, right? And he's throwing his own champions under the bus. But if you remember, he kind of did the same thing to Volkanovski, right? When Volkanovski started his run, he was kind of discrediting him as well, saying Max Holloway should be the real champ, because Holloway was the fan favorite then as well, or still is, but people were kind of on the Holloway side there. Now everyone sees Volkanovski. No, Volkanovski is the real deal, man. So I think the same thing is going to happen with Sterling here. It's a little bit of the same story. And yeah, I thought it was a great fight. I thought they were all great fights. I'm done my rant at least, so you boys can jump in. Kronsberry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with both you guys. I think Dana does that because he knows Aljo isn't going to be selling pay-per-views, and he's not going to be putting butts in seats when you compare him to a Jan or another fan favorite like a Dillashaw. So I think it's a business move from his side. And, we saw this with our own buddy Josh Hill. He didn't like his style because he's a wrestler and it's not flashy knockouts, and that's same as Aljo. And I think the one stat, though, you got to give Jan a bit of credit for was his takedown defense. I believe he stuffed, 19 takedown attempts? Ultra, or 20 even, maybe?
Yeah, no, I think he only let 2. Yeah, you let 2 takedowns out of that many.
But he stuffed 19, I think it was, or even 20. I think he was 2 for 22 was the official stat line. And I mean, you kind of have to give points, I think, if you're a judge, because that's 10%, right? Give or take. And that's not very good. You look at a true takedown specialist and they're landing 50% of the time, usually 1 in every 2. Aljo is a grappler and a great ground guy, and he can only get 1 of 10. So just an interesting stat throw out there. I thought it was a very close decision. I was biased. I took Jan and thought he should have won, but yeah, I went and rewatched it like you guys, and I do see why the judges would have taken that. Aljo dominated rounds 2 and 3, so I totally understand it. Yeah, we'll see what happens. It'd be nice to see Aldo get a shot. He's only got maybe a year or 2 left, right? And be nice to see him back in the title contention. But Dillashaw too, I think he's a hell of a fighter, and he really proved himself against Sandhagen. So it'll be great. Hamzat, he looked good. His truest test so far, and I think he's the real deal. He didn't walk through Burns like we thought, but hey, great war of a fight. And Volk, man, he's becoming one of my favorite fighters. I love the guy. I think he's so well-rounded, and just in that weight class, maybe it's not as deep, but it'd be really cool to see him go up to lightweight and just contend with, that's the Killers division, right? Probably deepest in the whole organization. So that'd be neat to see him go for a champ. So we'll see. Yeah, anything else, Zone, before we slide on into Easy Lines?
Yeah, not really. Yeah, no, I think we're good.
Right on, right on. So we got Saturday night, Luque Mohammed 2 coming at you from Las Vegas, Nevada. I think it's a bit of an early one, starts at 5, so make sure your parlays are locked in, end of this week or Saturday morning at the latest. But Z-Ball, why don't you recap our recent performance, and then we'll start at the top there with my favorite fighter on the entire organization, Vicente, the silent assassin Luque.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, kind of jumping back into last week's pay-per-view, a bit of a rough week for Eazy lines, going 3-4. We of course took Volk and Chimaev winning, but had Chim by finish, Volk by decision, right? So kind of opposites there, Yan as well. We did have the 4th round finish for Volkanovski, so hopefully you guys did sprinkle a bit on there, because that basically saved my night. So, but our winning clip for 2022 came back down to earth, right, with that weekend at 64% right now. Still a respectable number in my opinion, but certainly still on that quest for 70% this year. Currently, our career numbers, we're sitting at 171 wins, 108 losses, puts us at approximately a 61.3% win rate going into the weekend. Very interesting matchup. And again, I know I say that every week, but the UFC, these main events are always such talented fighters, and the Saturday's no different at all. Very important and meaningful fight in this welterweight division. Number 5th ranked Vicente Luque, sitting at -175 right now on Thursday night on Bet365, taking on the 6th ranked Bilal Mohammed, who's a plus 150 right now. So this is actually a rematch. Many or most of you, or some of you may not realize or remember, but they fought back in 2016. I kind of forgot, didn't see until I saw that number 2 in the promos, right? Then I was like, oh yes, okay, they fought back in 2016 as well. When they were both coming up in this division, right? Luque won by 1st round finish by punches, taking out Bilal quickly. A lot has happened since that time, right? They've both changed so much. I've had so many fights since then. I think I was counting, they both had something like 12 fights or something since then. So, yeah, quite a bit of difference, right? I don't see quite the same thing happening here, although maybe something close. Let's try and figure this one out here, right? Because I believe Luque, he does have the advantage in the striking. Bilal has the advantage on the ground. So Bilal's main path to victory here is going to look to take it through the grappling, right? Looking to control Luque on the ground. Bilal was able to do that very well in his last fight against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Now, I think Luque will have better takedown defense, certainly. And he's overall a stronger welterweight than Wonderboy. So it was a bad matchup for Wonderboy, and that fight made Bilal look a little bit better than he actually is. Also, that fight was in the Apex Center with a smaller cage, which greatly provides advantage to the grappler. But guess where the fight is this weekend? Apex Center as well. I don't know if Bilal took this fight at this venue, knowing that or not, but he probably was in the contract, right? But very smart decision on his part. And that's why I actually do believe this line for Luque is not going to -200 or above. If they were fighting somewhere else in the big cage, I think this line would be a little bit higher. So bettors know this. It's in the Apex again. One thing I don't see happening here is the Bilal finish. Of course, that's probably what's going to happen now, right? Now that I said that, but that is the one thing I'm confident in saying, that, I don't see the Bilal finish. I could see a Luque finish, certainly, or it goes to a decision, in a close fight that goes either way. But just take a look at these past performances, right? You'll easily see why the lines are the way they are and why I think this. Bilal has gone to decision 10 of his last 12 fights. One of those was just a no contest, right, with an eye poke with Leon Edwards. So let's kind of throw that one out, which, Bilal was kind of on his way to getting finished a little bit, maybe potentially against Edwards himself. Obviously Edwards is unreal. But anyways, let's look at the Vicente last couple fights, right? Last one, performance of the night, 1st round bonus submission of Michael Chiesa. The one before that, fight of the night bonus against Tyron Woodley, finished him in the first round by dart stroke as well. Fight before that, another performance of the night bonus, TKOs and fucks up Randy Brown in the second round. Previous fight to that, one of the best fights of the year in 2020, Nico Price forced the doctor to stop it in the third round. Nico's eye was falling out of his face. One of the best fights of the year, 2019, three-round war against Brian Barberina. TKOs him in the last 10 seconds in the third round. This guy has 4 fight of the night bonuses, 4 performance bonuses. Then you look at Belal's record, right? Like it's nothing even close to that. Very, very strong wrestler, right? He's a tough motherfucker. That's why it's tough to take it. Now, very interesting is that even just last night, so Wednesday night, the lines on Bet3, okay, it's already changed again. So last night, Vicente Luque by finish was a plus, I believe was a plus 130. It might even been a plus 135. Decision last night was a plus 300. Okay, right now, finish is a plus 105. So that's dropped down by 25 points. By decision, it's gone up 100 points from a plus 300 to a plus 400. So we can see money is dropping down on Luque by finish. I'm seeing value on decision Luque right now at a plus 400. Am I saying that's going to happen for sure? No, I'm not. But I'm loving the value at plus 400 now that the money has come down on that finish so hard. The other thing, if you want to go finish at plus 105, if you love that, take it. I think Luque is one of the best fighters in welterweight, certainly. He's been putting on incredible performances. Again, this kid has something. I don't know, Chiesa was even... Well, actually, no. Actually, that fight was that Luque was touching him up in the striking as well. Like Luque just has something about him. He's something about him, and I think he's very good chance he gets the finish as well. I just like the value at a plus 400 there. The other thing I kind of like here, which is kind of a weird one, that I usually don't take or even really look at that much, is method of victory double chance. Submission or decision, Vicente Luque plus 225. I kind of like that because like I said, Mohammed's going to try and take him down, which he probably will getting him down somewhat because we're in that small cage. But Luque, sometimes he gets he's got last 2 fights ended by dart choke. Again, this is dart choke on Michael Chiesa. I think Chiesa's jiu-jitsu is better than Belal Muhammad. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's right. So
his jits is better for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, if he can do it to Michael Chiesa, he can do it to Muhammad, certainly in some way or another. Like I said, he's got something about this kid. So, I think. And Belal Muhammad's just not going to have enough, not against the top guys. He's a good 10 to 15 guy in welterweight. He's not a top 5 guy. Luque is. So, yeah, Luque to win, submission or decision, 2 plus 225, just decision by plus 400. What do you guys think?
Kronz, I'll let you go first. So that's your boy.
Yeah, I mean, Luque's my boy. He's been my favorite for probably 2 years now. And just to Z-Ball's point, he's got 14 wins in the UFC, 13 are by finish. It's insane. Like, and then you look at his 3 losses. Wonder Boy, I rewatched that this week. Really good fight. Luque just faded in the 3rd round and was technically outstruck by Wonder Boy, but like rocked him a few times in the 1st round. And then like Leon Edwards, pretty close decision, and lost in the Ultimate Fighter finale versus Mike Graves way back in when's this, 2015. So I mean, 14-3 fighting killers and finishing killers is just that strength of schedule. That's the X factor. So I'm going so many ways on Luque. Money line, 1st round finish, 2nd round. I like that double chance Z-Ball just said, actually.
Oh, love the double chance.
That's pretty cool, man. Gonna jump on that. Maybe that submission decision one at 225.
Yep. Oh,
Guy's got 4 Darce choke wins in UFC. That's got to be close to the record for most Starstroke wins. Like,
Yeah.
I can't think of someone else. So maybe he gets his 5th this weekend. I did watch the Bilal Muhammad fight again. Absolutely dominated him. I don't see a path for Bilal unless he just takes him down and lays on him and gets a decision. That's the only way possible I see. But who knows? It's a fight. Anything can happen. Should be really exciting. And I think Luque's underrated. I think UFC doesn't give him enough love. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully, if he wins, maybe he gets a shot against Burns. I don't know, but he deserves the top 3, I think, if with the win here.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I agree with both of you. Z-Balls, some of your points there, I would have to give you props. Some of your best work, and I'm not even lying.
Oh, well, thank you, sir.
No problem at all. And I really like that double chance. Sign me up. The other thing with Bilal too, man, like it bothers me so much. So his last 2 wins by decisions, both those guys are about 40 years old. So Maya's over 40, Wonderboy's 39 now. And then like some of these, he was getting pieced up by Leon. Obviously, Leon's unreal. And then Lyman Good and Diego Lima, his last couple of ones before that, both decisions. He hasn't fought anybody and beat anybody unreal. Like earlier on, I think he might have had a win against who was I looking at? Sato's pretty good. Tim Means, a split decision, but like
Jordan Me.
Jordan Me. Randy Brown, but like, come on, man. Luque, let's go.
Yeah. I don't know why they booked this one, to be honest. Like, there's no upside for Luque. He's already.
I think honestly, I think it's a stall fight. It's like let's see what Kamzat does. Let's see if we're gonna book Leon and Usman. Like
that's fair.
That's what I think.
It gives Luque his first, I think, headline fight, right?
Yes.
So he'll get a little pay bump being on the poster, things like that. His brand gets a chance to shine, right, on ESPN. So yeah, I mean, I guess there is some upside. It's just if he loses, it's kind of devastating.
Yeah, it is.
So, anyways, I think he gets it done, boys. So let's lock that one up. Z, who do you got next here, buddy?
Oh, that's it for me, actually. That's the only one I got to touch on too much. But yeah, you go ahead there, Zoni.
Yeah, just a couple here. So Contender Series guys, it's co-main event right now. I like the plus money on Caio Borralho. I don't think he's going to be able to be held down by our Russian boy. And a guy that made his debut, Andre Fiallo, if you guys remember, really close fight against Pereira in the welterweight division. He's also plus money. I really liked how he fought against Pereira. He gave him all he could have. So I like those 2 plus monies near the top of the card there. And then just obviously hope a couple of our Canadian boys can get bounce back here and get some wins and make some waves here at 145 and 155 moving forward. Be sure to watch Chris Barnett as well, the best dancer outside of the cage. And spinning wheel kick knockout last time out as well. So you never know what he's going to bring. Exciting guy inside and outside the cage. So I got to love those versatile heavyweights.
Love that, Zone. It's funny you say Caio. He was one of my picks of the week here. Did some research on that one. And I think just as like athleticism and strength of schedule slightly better, the Russian just hasn't really fought too many high level guys. And then just one, I think it's the first fight of the night. I don't know how to say his first name. Heli Alatang.
Oh yeah, Haile Alatang.
Really like him.
So do I.
Kroom's awful. So
He's horrible.
I'm gonna walk through him. So lock this one, boys.
I agree with that, Kronz, 100%.
Yeah. Alatang, Borralho, and Luque, all money line pays plus 418. And I think those are all really strong plays. And that's some nice 5-to-1 value. So definitely throw in a couple units on that. And that could be a nice hit to walk away from.
Absolutely. If we can touch on a quick, massive Bellator for tomorrow night, like a couple of massive fights here. So you got Aaron Pico making his return. Unfortunately, Canadian Jeremy Kennedy had to back out of that. He's a huge, I'm not talking about betting, but he's going to absolutely destroy his opponent here. And then you got the tournament championship between Corey Anderson and Vadim Nemkov. My lock of the week in any MMA organization is Corey Anderson. He's plus money right now. And this guy has, he's done it all. And he's more confident than he's ever been. He's even calling out UFC fighters in the same weight class, and I believe him. He looked really good against Bader, and even better before that. And he's just kind of on a roll here. And his wrestling is going to take over Nemkov, I think. And the plus money here is a little surprising for me, but I'm going to be all over that. And then the rematch between arguably the best featherweight in the world right now against arguably who used to be the best featherweight in the world. AJ McKee's calling out Volkanovski, disappointed in his performance, which I don't see how you could be disappointed. He fought fantastic against Korean Zombie. Excited to see what happens here. He said he will not re-sign with Bellator unless it's $1 million per fight. Not sure if they're going to up that, but he is a guy that started with them, and I could see them matching that. And there is still a few guys he hasn't fought in that division in Bellator that, you know, I don't know if they'll pose problems, but there'll be challenges. But would love to see him come over to the UFC and see how he matches up in some of those against some of those 145ers. So can't count Pitbull out. He reigned for so long, and it would be nice to see him get that win, because they'll definitely have to make a third there, which would be cool to see. But McKee seems like he's on another level, so excited for that tomorrow night too.
Beauty. Well, yeah, we got a full weekend full of fights, got a long weekend here in Canada, so everyone enjoyed their Easter. See you at the Cashier Friday and Saturday night. Let's get it.
Dude, I got one question. You prefer Matt or Matt?
Next up on the Hooks In MMA podcast, we're lucky to have on 9-1 light heavyweight. He's got a big fight coming up on March the 11th. Lucky to have on Alex Eazy Polizzi. How's it going today, man?
It's going good. How are you, Matt?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Good weekend. Watched some fights. Good to be back in 2022 with a lot of these cards being announced, especially in Bellator. And you got a fight coming up here in March. So just how's training been the last few weeks, and how's training camp going leading up to this fight?
Training's been good. Recently, I had a change of venue. I moved from my birth home in Wisconsin and trained in Madison, and I'm out here at Extreme Couture in Vegas. It's a fun new training partner. Practice with a lot of hitters. We'll be bringing some new skills and a lot more fun to the next show for Bellator.
Yeah, so out at Extreme Couture, we've been lucky to speak with some of the fighters, some of the coaches out there. Which coaches you've been training with, and who's in your corner in March here?
Relatively at Extreme, been getting little hints here and there from all the coaches, especially the pro guys, Dennis and Eric Nixick, and even some of the fighters who have had a lot of experience, like been getting tips from Strickland and from Chris Curtis and a lot of guys there. But that doesn't mean that I've lost my corners from back home. We'll still have my coach from Chosen Few, Kane Rizzo, and Damian Decora has even came out, and he's enjoying some of the Las Vegas weather and watching the training so that he can prove useful in utilizing some of our old skills, as long as with the new skills when he corners me come March. So, yep, old corners, new skills.
Absolutely, and sharpening those skills from fight to fight. Very successful amateur career all the way into Bellator here. And I usually ask a question regarding a pro fighter's first professional loss, and I only ask that because usually for most people it eventually happens. And what kind of things did you take away from that fight? How did it help you move forward and get on this winning streak here? What did you take away mostly from that first loss?
I've told people before, and this kind of leads into my take on film, but I do a lot of breaking down my own film and maybe not so much of my opponent's fights. So we're able to go back, we're able to look at the mistakes that the thing. Really, it's about making sure that, I'm here at light heavyweight where everyone usually is going to be taller than my 5'11" frame and my reach. And we just got to make sure that we're pulling to my strengths, which is getting close, getting to that wrestling range, using head movement to slip outside of those big long arms, making sure that we get nice and close. And Anglicos loss was just a good reminder that, hey, you can't just wade into deep water and use your wrestling on top of everybody. We have to finesse this a little bit and use some of our boxing and our striking to hide the wrestling. I mean, everybody and their mom knows that when Alex Polizzi's coming to the ring against you, that he's going to try shooting, he's going to try getting close, he's going to try getting on top. But we need to make sure that we're at least hanging it behind some of our other skills. And I think after that loss, we really are focusing on sharpening those other things to enhance the wrestling.
Yeah, and that's setting those traps up and some feints and maybe mixing in a mixed bag of tricks. I'm sure you've probably been sharpening those types of things up at Extreme Couture as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so looking for 3 in a row here. Bellator obviously has some very, very deep divisions. The light heavyweight, not to say that it's not deep, but it's a division that you can definitely make waves here. So in terms of your opponent, Jose Augusto Acevedo, what do you know about him, and how do you think your style and your skills match up against him?
Like I said, I'm more focused on the things that I can work on, the things that I can change. So you said about depth of weight classes, and I mean, at this level of the game, top level of Bellator, everybody's good. You can't sleep on anybody's skills. But really, we're going to be focused on trying to make use of what I'm best at, which is getting real close, making that fight dark time for him, looking for spots to cause some damage. Maybe see if we can pick him up and drop him a couple times. That seems to tire people out quite a bit. I know that he's a good light heavy, and that he's got some jiu-jitsu in his background. So we're going to be making sure that we're not getting caught somewhere silly where some fresher wrestlers have been. But I've been at it for a bit, and I've experienced some of the pitfalls that pure wrestling can pose to MMA. And so we're just going to make sure that we're staying smart in our wrestling and making use of our own jiu-jitsu and catch wrestling, as well as dirty boxing, the whole shebang.
Yeah, and that's a great way to put it. I just want you to know, by no means was I, taking anything away from your division in Bellator. Just saying that, with your win streak here and what you've learned from your first loss moving forward, there is quite a bit of opportunity there for you with your skill set to climb the ranks. That's all I meant by that. But yeah, just very excited for the 11th. Fantastic card that's been announced, and really looking forward to that. Just outside of fighting and training, what are some hobbies that you have that you like to keep busy?
I get asked this one a lot, and I think there's been a couple times where I haven't shouted it out, and I've gotten some flack from my buddies. I'm an avid dungeon master. If anyone's familiar with Dungeons and Dragons, I play 5th edition. I'm kind of the guy in charge, so all my buddies are busy playing wizards and rangers, and I get to be behind the scenes and be the bad guy to all their heroic exploits. So yeah, if I'm not working out, you think that a lot of there's a stereotype that we're all a bunch of mindless, violent kind of guys, and all the other kind of stereotypes that fall along with fighters. And I don't know what the other guys are doing in their free time, but Mine's about magic and rolling dice.
Sounds amazing. No, there's nothing wrong with that. That sounds pretty cool. It's unique. You know, it's everybody's got their own thing, and
Look,
kudos to you for doing it.
It's a lot of fun, and I feel like since I don't know, it's got being a nerd and being okay with being into nerdy stuff has gotten a lot more popular within the past decade. You know, we got Marvel movies that are breaking box office records. We got everybody's got their own gaming thing. No, it's no longer a shame if I see that your headphones right now are those some gaming headphones, or are those specifically for podcasting, or what do you got there?
I should probably know what they are, right? I don't play a lot of video games, but I bought them for the podcast and for my Xbox that I play once in a while. Usually play a lot of sports games, but yeah, it's for both of those.
There you go. And I mean, like, even if it's sports games, it's still it's gotten a lot more okay to tell people like, hey, I'm staying in and playing video games. Whereas, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, people would be like, whoa, that's weird. What, you live in your mom's basement and drink Mountain Dew and you got Cheeto dust on your fingers, and that's a different stereotype altogether. We're getting off topic.
No, no. The main thing is there's nothing wrong with it. You like it, and that's all that matters.
Big hobby of mine, and then I'm out in Vegas. A lot more hiking. Vegas is just the strip and drinking and gambling, but there's some cool trails, and I mean, maybe not as much color back in the Midwest, you know, in terms of plants and stuff, but it's still fun to hike around and see the cool sights, and there's plenty of awesome rocks to look at.
yeah, absolutely. You can never add to the knowledge that you have. You can always add something else. So that's a place I haven't got to. I hope to get to someday. Just to finish up here, we do between rounds segment, 1 minute. I'll ask you a question. You give me your best answer. Okay. Favorite sport other than MMA?
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit right
Sorry
there.
about that. Favorite sport other than MMA?
Favorite sport other than MMA. Is this to watch or to play?
Either or.
You know, I like watching lacrosse. It has all the cool stuff about hockey, but it's accessible because nobody has to ice skate, and I can follow it a little quicker.
Yeah, that's great.
The puck moves quick in hockey, man. You can follow it a little bit better in lacrosse.
Yeah, my buddy on the podcast here, he played all growing up, so he'll love that answer. What about favorite Marvel movie?
Oh, favorite Marvel movie. That's tough. I mean, there's the magnum opus of Avengers, you know, like Thanos. But honestly, I'm gonna have to give it to Thor 3. Is 3 or 2? It was Thor 3. Yeah, Thor 3. You know, he gets that cool scene where he gets sent to the garbage planet, and he finds his buddy Hulk, and you get to see that Hulk is a little more than just a weapon, a banner. It's neat. It's neat. Yeah, Thor 3.
All right, I'm gonna have to watch that now from that suggestion. Yeah, I know. Don't judge me. What's your favorite spot to travel to in America?
Favorite spot to travel to? I live here because I traveled here a couple times. I was really enjoying it. You know, it's gonna sound cheesy, but I do like my trips back to Chicago, and it's not where I'm from. It's a little bit more south, but like I got a lot of buddies back there, and I might receive flack on this because it's so divisive, but I'm a Chicago deep dish pizza guy, man. I love it, and I mean, you can try to get it other places, but the Chicago deep dish just hits different.
Another spot I need to get to eat. I passed through there once, but never ate the deep dish, so that'll have to be in the near future. What about
just a reminder that the deep dish pizza, you don't eat it like normal pizza. You like normal pizza is like 3-4 slices. Deep dish is like one, and that's a meal. You got it.
All right, I'll keep that in mind. Do you have like a favorite type of music that you listen to?
Favorite type of music? I'm kind of all over the place, but if you really tried to pin me down, it's mostly hip hop. I'm a big fan of Tech Nine, and like, whether I'm listening to people or whatever, I can always go back to a Tech Nine album and really jam out to that. So
Yeah, no, I'll accept that answer because I have a hard time believing I'd be able to pin you down. So, based on your skill set. So yeah, just any sponsor shout outs or social media to finish up.
yeah, got tons of sponsors, people back home that are, but of course, people back home first, fans, got to give them a shout out because, fighters, it's not like the other sports. If nobody's trying to watch, nobody pays attention, then we don't get fights. So first of all, shout out to them. Back home, sponsors in the Rock Bar and Grill, sponsors in Remax Ignite. Shout out to my buddies at Vortex Optics. Hopefully I'm not gonna miss anybody, but Club Fundamental and Jared Jason's Operations. I think if I miss anybody. Oh, and then my buddy Mickey Magnum doing his thing. I miss anybody? Sorry, I'm blanking. I usually just when I stop remembering stuff, I just blame CTE.
Yes,
I shouldn't do, but
yeah, you can do it. Yeah, so really appreciate your time and just allowing us to talk about your career a little bit and your upcoming fight. So that's March 11th. It's going to be in St. Louis, Missouri, and it's a fight that can get you 3 in a row here in the light heavyweight division. Really excited to see it. Alex Eazy Polizzi, this is Hooks in MMA. Thanks so much, bro.
Thank you, man. Have a nice one. Bye.
Next up on the Hooks in MMA podcast, we're lucky to have on 11-3 lightweight. He's got a big fight coming up on March 11th at the PFL Challenger Series 4. We have on Iron Mike Barnett today. How's it going, man?
Man, it's going well. It's going well.
Good. Curious, leading up to this point, when did you get this call, and how excited were you for the opportunity?
Well, I got my 12th win back in October, man. So I'm 12-3 now, but it's no big deal. No, just kidding.
Hey, that's my bad.
So no worries, man. I think it still says 11-3 on my official record. But yeah. So shortly after that fight, or going into that fight, they talked to my management team about winning my last fight, and they get me on PFL at either in the Challenger Series or into the featherweight tournament season. So I'd been kind of looking a little while, but it came through last week. I think the 27th, 26th, maybe January. So I think I found out Tuesday. I found out Monday or Tuesday, and then they publicly put the thing out Wednesday or Thursday, but told me I couldn't talk about it. So yeah, I'm extremely excited for the opportunity. It's something I've been working for a long time, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, the opportunity's presented itself, and you're able to showcase that coming up around a month from now. Growing up, besides MMA, did you play any other sports, and what ultimately made you decide to go professional?
Well, so yeah, I played all the sports as a kid. Basketball, baseball, football, track and field. I did all that. I was a high school wrestler. Shout out Barstow Aztecs. Yeah, man, I played all the sports, and then I got into college, and I walked on to the football team here in South Alabama. Go Jags. and I ended up injuring my knee right before summer training camp, right after I had walked on in like summer workouts or fall training camps. I didn't get to play or anything for the team. And after that, I had actually started training right before that. I injured my knee playing basketball at my school rec center. So I missed some opportunity to try out college football. And then I kind of just dove into training once my knee healed up enough. And I did a few jiu-jitsu competitions. I wanted to fight. I started fighting, man. I at this point I had figured that I would be going into my current career outside of fighting, which is law enforcement. So I just wanted to have some practice in real physical combat, hand-to-hand combat type stuff. So that's what really drove me to the striking aspect. And then I just kind of fell in love with it. And plus, as a kid growing up in the 90s, I mean, everybody, we'd all watch G.I. Joe, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Dragon Ball Z. We all grew up on fighting cartoons and shows and Power Rangers and all that type of stuff. So it's something that was always in the back of my mind to do. So yeah, when I got the opportunity, I did a Muay Thai lesson with my best friend Matt Stone, who's now a Army combat helicopter pilot. Shout out to my best friend.
No big deal.
And no big deal. My best friend's a pilot. He actually flies jets now too, so he just does all of it.
That's awesome.
But, I did a Muay Thai lesson with him. Then I came back here to Mobile, Alabama, and I found me a gym, my home gym, Port City Combat Sports, and I started training, and it's been full blast ever since then, man. I trained for a while. I took my first amateur fight, had a great experience, loved it, and then that's just been chasing the fight dream ever since.
Fantastic. I got to throw out a couple quick things there. Growing up 4 or 5 years old, the best gift I ever got was underground sewer system. I had
the same one.
Ninja Turtles, Splinter.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. And the second thing, if you're talking about jets and flying, I named my first child. He's 2 now, after Maverick in Top Gun.
Oh,
so,
awesome.
Yeah,
my best friend. We used to be Maverick and Goose all the time.
There you go.
So.
Yeah, I tried to tell my wife for my second kid to name him Goose. She didn't like that, but yeah.
We'll make it his nickname.
Yeah, we can all dream. Maybe a nickname. Yeah. So just obviously, just very quickly, with your weight, and can I guess that you're a DB at South Alabama?
I was gonna play slot receiver, but yeah, I played DB in high school. Yeah, but the coach at the time was Damian Craig. So South Alabama, this was about 2008, 2009. They didn't have a football team, and then they started one, and they had played that first year, and then the second year, like I was trying hard to get on the team, and just I wasn't allowed to practice, but I would come to practice every day, every single day. I'd be the first one on the field, and just watching and waiting for them to come up there, and then Coach Craig, Damian Craig, who I think he coaches at Texas A&M now. He was like, "Hey man, I see you up here every day. I know that you want it. You can come up here, and we're gonna give you a shot." But yeah, I played DB and corner in high school. For the team, I was gonna try to walk on I had walked on with, because Damian Craig, he was the wide receivers coach at the time, so I had walked on under him, so I was gonna be a wide receiver or slot receiver.
Cool, that's awesome, man. I'm a huge college sports fan myself, so that's amazing. Just with your mixed martial arts career, it's been very successful. You've shown a lot in a variety of different promotions. What's like your best experience so far prior to signing on to PFL here?
So prior to PFL, I would say I've had a few big fights on island fights. We had a huge fight. What was that, 2018? It was supposed to be on Looking for a Fight. Dana White was supposed to come. And all that stuff. And I think he ended up breaking his foot or his hand or something like that, so he didn't make it down. But that was my first or second time fighting on UFC Fight Pass. I fought a real tough dude who's a Contender Series vet, Max Mustaki. It was a good win for me. And then this past October, I fought a real tough guy from down this way. He's from Louisiana. And I got a knockout, and I won my first professional title in less than a round. So those are my two biggest, my two best experiences outside of getting my shot with PFL.
I have to bring up, your picture on Tapology. You do have some pretty sweet gear there.
Oh yeah.
Where are all those belts from? You just mentioned one. Where's the other couple from?
Yeah, so I had those were so that was a picture I took right before that. A picture that I took right before my pro debut, man. And I don't know who picked that picture to put it up there, but yeah, I was an amateur champion, all the regional promotions down here. Island Fights, I was Island Fights amateur lightweight champion, the Fight Force International amateur champion, and the Renaissance MMA amateur champion in out of Louisiana.
If I was fighting you, if I was looking you up, if I was Ronaldo X and your upcoming opponent, and I checked this page out, I'd be like, oh shit, I gotta be careful here. So
yeah, it's a pretty sweet picture, man. I kind of took that, and I just like so here's the thing. I trained around a bunch. I moved back to California for a little while. I trained at Dan Henderson's athletic fitness center. Shout out to Team Quest. And he's got a picture like that, and I was like, oh man, that's so cool. He's got a picture like that up in the gym, and I was like, if I ever get a chance, I'm gonna give me a picture like that. And I didn't actually mean for it to get out and be like, I didn't pick the picture for my Tapology page, put it like that, man. But it's a pretty cool looking picture.
Yeah,
my friend
awesome.
Tyler, photographer, she took that picture, so shout out to Tyler.
Yeah, that's awesome. And speaking of your opponent on the 11th of March, what do you know about him, and how do you feel like you stack up against him?
I think we're gonna put on a good fight, man. He's tough. He's good. He's knocking dudes out. He's subbing dudes. He looks awesome, man. It's an awesome challenge. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. I feel like I feel like we're good matches for each other. I mean, I think the PFL did a great job matching all these fights. I think that me and him have the most professional fights of the guys on the card. So I think they put the two most experienced guys together.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure we're the oldest two too. So yeah, I think they did a great job matching us, and I'm looking forward to the matchup.
Yeah, I can't wait for just PFL to start up and be a little bit later for the regular season, but got the Challenger Series here. I'm jacked up for it. It's coming up here very quickly. Yeah, just what do you do outside of training, outside of fighting? What are some of your hobbies?
So I don't do much outside of training, man. My schedule is full. I'm a full-time police officer down here in Mobile. I have 2 kids. So if I'm not training, if I'm not working, I spend time with my 2 kids. I got a 3-year-old little boy. His name is Michael. Michael, well, Zay is what we call him. His middle name is Xavion, so call him Zay.
I like
my
that.
3. And then I have a daughter, Samira, who's 1.5 and just a little wrecking ball. She's tearing up everything. So I'm running behind the 2 of them. Spend time with my family, my kids, playing video games. Obviously, man, I play. I'm playing Outright. I'm trying to finish Outriders. I almost never have time to play. If anybody out there is playing Outriders on PS5, I need a crew to finish up the last couple missions. So somebody hit me up. Let me know.
There we go. To finish up here, we have a 1 minute between rounds segment. I'll ask you a question. You give me your best answer, okay?
Okay.
Favorite sport other than MMA?
College basketball.
Favorite team in college basketball?
University of North Carolina Tar Heels. Go Heels.
Oh man. All right, we'll keep going. No.
Don't tell me you're
No. You wouldn't even. I've been a Marquette fan for 20-25 years, so
okay.
D Wade kind of. Yeah, you can't really hate them. We're in the top 25 right now, which is a rarity these days. But just your favorite college football team. I'll throw that out there since you played a bit.
Yeah, same. So my great grandfather was the first African American groundskeeper for North Carolina, the University of North Carolina. So like I rock with all their sports teams. So college football, college basketball,
fair enough,
women's soccer, North Carolina. But outside of North Carolina, I like a myriad of schools. I root for a lot of guys. I live in Alabama country. Like I mean,
yep.
that's where I live. So anybody anybody that's challenging them is good for me. Which I kind of root for the Tide a little bit now. I didn't used to. But I like to see the national powers. I'm one of those guys that just likes good. Like down here, everybody's so passionate about college football. I mean, it's really good when all the traditional powers in college football are good. Like now that Michigan was back good, and I'd like to see Texas be back good. Not because I necessarily like Texas, but just
the
college
powerhouses.
football. Yeah, when there's all those big teams are good. So I'm just a college football fan, and my Tar Heels are gonna be on the come up.
Well, I hope you can cross your fingers for my favorite team. They used to be a powerhouse. They haven't been in 25 years now, Nebraska. So give them a little shout out. Just in terms of mixed martial artists of all time, who would be a couple of your favorites?
A couple of my favorite mixed martial artists of all time. Obviously, everybody likes Anderson Silva, man. BJ Penn. I like really skilled guys. I'm a big fan of like Max Holloway right now. My favorite fighter for a long time was Ben Henderson, man, because he was just smooth, and he was like respectful. I like Kamaru Usman. I like his evolution because he's gone from wrestler to good boxer striker. I'm a big fan of Mighty Mouse. I like Stipe, even though he's a firefighter. I'm happy to see Francis doing well. Yeah, man, I'm just a big fan of all the guys that are really skilled.
Yep.
And like, there's a lot of guys in the sport right now that are trying to sell themselves on like disrespect and all this kind of stuff. I don't think none of that's necessary. I don't really get into all that. I like the guys that are, yeah, man, I respect my opponent, but I'm gonna go out there and fight. You know what I mean? I like Adesanya. I'm a big fan right now of Rob Whitaker. I like him and Adesanya. So
can't wait for that
I'm
Saturday.
happy. That's gonna be an awesome fight. It could go either way, and I'd like to see Rob have a better performance, even if he lost. I just want better for him because he's such a good guy. I love his attitude towards fighting and this mixed martial arts in general. So guys like that.
Yeah, Holloway and Whitaker
guys.
are a couple of my favorite guys, so I'm right there with you there. Do you have any sponsors, shout-outs, or social media you wanted to address?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I got to shout out my sponsors: Clean Eats of Mobile, Randy James Construction, Rhonda Shirazi's Tax Service, Mediterranean Sandwich Shop, Rock and Roll Sushi. If you guys come to Mobile, the best sushi in town is at Rock and Roll Sushi. If you're looking for a meal plan, meal prep place, Clean Eats of Mobile is the top one around. And Rhonda Shirazi, she's been a CPA for nearly 20 years or nearly 30 years, excuse me. And, she's going to do your taxes right. So need your taxes done. You're in the Mobile area, business or personal. Ms. Shirazi can take care of you.
Fantastic. So happy we could have you on. I appreciate your time and really looking forward to March 11th. You got, the main event here at PFL Challenger Series 4, Iron Mike Barnett. This is Hooks and MMA. Thanks so much, bro.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
No problem.